All right, welcome. Another edition of It's Still Real to Me, Zaslow Show 2.0, always presented by Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. If you got any kind of personal injury you are dealing with, however the accident came about, motorcycle, car, maybe a boating accident, slip and fall, whatever it is, I'm sending you to Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys because they're going to take care of all the stuff outside of you getting healthy. That's your business. You got to make sure you get healthy and you recover. Let them take care of all the other extracurricular stuff and get you the money that you deserve. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-3733. My pal is Joey Levine. He is hanging out with us here. You are in Texas. So, folks who are watching on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ZaslowShow, you do not have a pretty background. You have a very boring background. Good morning, Joey.
Yeah, good morning. And I have a raspy voice. I'm a little bit hungover. I have a belly full of Texas barbecue, but we got to give the people what they want. So here we are. And it is appropriate, I guess, that I'm in Austin, even though I did get here 24 hours after the biggest show of the week. And but I'm excited because I think for the first time since Zaslow Show 2.0 started, I'm more excited to talk about AEW this week than WWE.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll start out. We usually go WWE, then AEW. We'll start out AEW this week. We'll mix it up. All right. But first, I want to tell you about last night. So I went to Impact Wrestling last night. First time I've ever been to Impact. All right. It was here in Pembroke Pines. So, I mean, it's 5 minutes away from where I live. Everybody knows I run Cooper City. Cooper City is very close to Pembroke Pines. And they had their show last night, and they got another show coming tonight, Saturday night, Winter Warfare, Winter Warfare, Impact Wrestling. I've never been to Impact. And so what happens is, and I don't know a ton, I don't follow Impact, and they taped, by my count, they taped 3 shows last night that we went to, and they're probably taping 2 or 3 more tonight. So you got to see, all their main guys appeared twice throughout the course of the night. And so, I'm explaining to my son, because, there's one segment where, homeboy gets his ass kicked, and then he's back out 30 minutes later, like nothing happened. So I had to explain to my son what's going on here. I took my younger son. I had to explain to him, they're taping different episodes here. So what's happening? He's like, oh, okay. So then it made sense to him. Like, why are they not referencing that he just got carried out on a stretcher, 30 minutes ago? So, yeah. So they taped, I think, 3 episodes of Impact last night. We had a great time. We were in the front row. So I imagine we'll be on TV a bunch. We weren't opposite the hard camera. We were off to the left side of the hard camera, which would be the right side of the entrance. I imagine we'll be on camera a bunch, but we were in the front row. It was a lot of fun. I mean, they essentially make the auditorium into like a TV studio. It's only a few hundred people who are there, and I mean, it's packed for the seats that they, have set up, but it's only a few hundred people. It's essentially a TV studio setup, and they taped, I think, 3 shows last night that we're at. So if you tune into Impact on Axis, me and my son, we're going to be front row dead center the next 3 weeks worth of episodes. I'm pretty sure is what you're going to wind up seeing. When's the last time you watched Impact Wrestling? Do you know what's going on over there?
Honestly, I think the last time I watched Impact was when WWE started cutting a bunch of people, and there was all the rumors of where all these
they got a bunch of WWE
wrestlers that were cut yeah. It was probably maybe 2 years ago, I think, maybe a year and a half, when Matt Cardona and all those guys started getting cut.
Yeah.
And I was there was all these rumors, what companies are they going to show up in? And there was rumors this guy's going to show up in Impact. This guy's going to show up in Impact. So I watched it then. But yeah, you actually answered one of my follow-ups, which is I didn't even know what channel Impact was on.
Access,
so that was my first. Yeah, that was my first follow-up. And then my other one was who did you get last night? What was the biggest, what was the best match? and what, like, who were the guys? Like, who would I even remember? Like, I follow wrestling pretty thoroughly, so I know who was there, but who did you get last night?
Well, so they're clearly building toward this pay-per-view. All right. So the main story, there are two main stories. All right. The first main story, the women, I guess you got Jordynne Grace, who is their champion, who I think she's really great. You got Jordynne Grace, who's their champion, and she's
cool.
Yeah. And she's going to be fighting Mickie James. All right. I think it's like a retirement match potentially for Mickie James. If she loses, she has to retire.
I mean, that would make sense. Mickie James has been around for a long time.
So I think that's the big story going on there. And they were in a tag match last night. And of course, at the end of the tag match, there was a discrepancy, and it ends with Mickie James super kicking Jordynne Grace. And now they're mad at each other. And so it's all building up toward that show, and they're fighting for the title. The other big story is, so Bully Ray, who was on Zaslow Show 2.0 this week, you can go back and listen. Probably one of my favorite wrestling spots I've done. He was excellent. So you can go back and listen to Bully Ray on my show a few days ago. He's challenging the world champion at this pay-per-view, Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, who gives me a lot of Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine vibes. I feel like it's a very similar character there. He comes down, not that Kurt Angle did this, but Josh Alexander wears the wrestling headgear. So I had to explain to my son why he wears that and what cauliflower ear is, but if you don't know much about Josh Alexander, he's clearly a badass, and it reminds me very much, like I said, of Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine.
Yeah, he's like one of their top guys, right? Because he's one of those guys that it seems like for a few years, there's been rumors like, will he leave Impact and go somewhere bigger because he's really good. I don't know a ton about him, but it feels like he's one of those guys that there's always like these rumors out there, like, will he ever end up in like the big time? Not that Impact's not big time, but you know what I mean.
He's pretty good. So the main event that we saw last night, and again, I mean, spoiler alerts, it's going to air in like 2 weeks, I guess. He fought Moose. Right. He fought Moose.
Moose is cool. I like Moose. Moose, dude.
He is a Moose. Big guy. And I don't even necessarily mean like as far as weight. He is.
I think he played in the NFL. He played in the NFL.
Did. I think he played for the Patriots. I've had him on my show like a year or two ago. I think he played for Belichick and the Patriots. But it was Moose versus Josh Alexander, so that was cool. So the main build on the men's side is Bully Ray is challenging Josh Alexander. But on top of it, Bully Ray has got this. He's got this story going on with Tommy Dreamer, and they're feuding, and their friendship is over. And of course, it's crossing over into Busted Open, and they reference how we're going to still do the radio show together, but we are not friends anymore. And it ended with a bunch of chair shots and a ladder shot on Tommy Dreamer, and Bully Ray. He practically killed him last night.
Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer feuding on wrestling television in 2022.
That's right.
That was not on my bingo card, but hey, you know what? I guess for the people who were around to watch that era, it's probably pretty cool to see it in person.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, look, Tommy Dreamer. I'm age has gotten to him a little bit. All right, but Bully Ray looks fantastic. I mean, maybe the best shape of his life. Looks fantastic. So those were the main storylines.
Yeah, I remember it was a few years back in Impact where he kind of became like a legit solo competitor and like got jacked. Yep. Like because he used to be fat. Like the Dudley Boys were just like kind of fat back when they were in like their big run, like even their ECW days. But he looks like he's still pretty jacked. That's cool. Yeah.
So those were the two main stories. Especially the Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray, Josh Alexander stuff. That was a running theme throughout the entire night. Because like I said, I think they taped 3 episodes. So so we had a great time. It was fun, man.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up because I did want to do a quick correction on myself from last week's episode, which was when we were talking about you going to this show. I said, that's cool because you might get to see FTR. I was mistaken. FTR only has 3 titles. They only have the Ring of Honor, AAA, and IWGP titles. They don't have the Impact titles. I don't think they've ever had the Impact titles, but I'm having trouble keeping track of all of the titles that FTR has. So I said on the show last week, you might get to see them. I was wrong.
I should make note as well. That reminds me, Josh Alexander versus Moose was very good. Best match of the night was for the Impact Tag Team Championship. It was Heath and Rhino. They're the champions. Spoiler alert, they were the champions. They defended the belts against Motor City Machine Guns. And I know who those guys are because they appeared in AEW. You may remember like a couple months ago. What was that? The crossover.
It's like Chris. Right? It's like Chris Sabin and what's the other guy's name? I don't remember the other guy.
I don't know their names, but those guys are awesome.
Awesome, and also been around for a long time. Man.
Really
good. I mean, really been a long. I mean, Chris Sabin. I think Chris Sabin was Impact champion like years ago.
So those guys are super cool. Motor City Machine Guns against Heath and Rhino. That was a great match last night. And Motor City Machine Guns have some other belts. I was trying to read what the belts said. I couldn't tell which belts they had, but now they got both belts because they won the Impact Championship last night.
The professional wrestling landscape is fascinating right now.
Yeah, it's so
that there's so much. There's just so much.
Yeah,
like I just talked about how FTR are in a company and have 3 other title belts that aren't even for that company.
They rarely fight for the I know they did, and we'll get to it. They actually fought for them this week, but they rarely fight for AEW.
Yeah, but it's like they have 3 title belts for companies that they don't even technically work for full time. And now you're saying how Motor City Machine Guns now have multiple title belts for companies. Like it's cool for these guys because I would say probably up until the last decade, you couldn't actually make a living doing what those guys are doing, like just kind of bouncing around in indies and like smaller promotions. But it kind of shows the health of the industry, I guess you could say, that these guys could like really do well in these other like smaller promotions. There's enough of an appetite that people are watching this because I wouldn't have had any idea.
So we had a great time. Anyone who went last night absolutely got their money's worth. Like I said, you saw 3 episodes worth. The show overall was about 3.5 hours, just nonstop. I mean, since they're taping it, there's no commercial breaks. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And, we were sitting in the front row, but wherever you're sitting there, worst case scenario, you're in the 3rd row. So everyone was up close.
That's cool.
It was really fun. I enjoyed it. If you're listening right now, It's Still Real to Me, and it's not Saturday evening yet, you go pick up your tickets. It's right there, Pembroke Pines, Charles at Dodge City Center. Super affordable. You can go check that out.
Yeah. And then also, but on the topic of like how awesome wrestling is right now, you can go to that tonight. Or you can hang out. You can watch NXT Deadline. You can watch Ring of Honor Final Battle, which, by the way, I've been talking shit about Ring of Honor Final Battle, but that card looks sick.
Yeah.
Like, I probably won't catch it live, but there are matches on it that I will go back and watch.
And what time is NXT Deadline? That's it. I know Ring of Honor is in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, I think they don't want to run at the same time as Deadline. So I think they're
isn't
running
UFC tonight also?
UFC is tonight. And that's spoiler alert. Well, I guess not spoiler alert. There will be a UFC-ish headline in Big Dirt, Not a Big Dirt.
Okay, there's a lot of combat sports going on. My goodness, it's too much going. I got the Heat and the Panthers playing this afternoon. Also, there's too much going on today. Thank God there's no college football. All right, so there's a lot happening here today. All right, so really good time. Thanks to Ross Foreman at Impact for setting me up the last week with wrestlers and for the tickets last night. I appreciate those guys. So let's talk about Dynamite. All right, AEW Dynamite this week was really good. And it's funny because my younger son said to me, the last AEW show we went to was Revolution back in March, which was great. And amazing, though. William Regal debuted in March, and we are in December, and he is officially out. Like, that's a legit thing. William Regal is done with
insane,
AEW.
Right?
Yeah. So he was only there for 9 months almost. But anyway, so my son even turned to me and goes, I feel like AEW's lost a little bit of steam. I said, you're right. I think so too. But this Wednesday.
Your son gets it, doesn't he? He really,
yeah, right.
Because like he has a good pulse. Maybe he should be co-hosting.
So this past Wednesday, though, I thought was an excellent episode of AEW Dynamite. There were two things first and foremost that stood out. The first one, which had the entire wrestling world abuzz, was okay. We know Ricky Starks is the number one contender now. He's going to fight MJF. But that promo was the good shit. So Ricky Starks won the Battle Royal. MJF comes out. And now, all right, well, last time you saw like an up-and-coming guy who is face-to-face with a microphone against MJF was Wheeler Yuta, right? And MJF just, took his lunch money. And so now let's see what Ricky Starks has got going on. And this was a must-see promo segment. It was trending all over the place. And Ricky Starks, if you didn't know before, Ricky Starks just became a star this past Wednesday night.
It's I don't want to do this whole like I know, whatever, but like I remember when he debuted in AEW. Cody Rhodes was doing the TNT title open challenge where guys from the indies he was giving anyone who shows up from any company can come in and challenge for this title. And I believe it was the very first time when he did that, Ricky Starks showed up. No idea who this guy is.
Right.
But there was just something about him. And I was like, damn, this guy's got something. I don't know what it is. I mean, MJF kind of referenced it in his promo, which was he did give me like rock vibe, like young, like rock vibes. But again, he's one of these guys that has kind of been like toiling away in AEW. He was with the team Taz for a while, and he feuded with Brian Cage, who's kind of like toiling away. So we haven't gotten a real chance. And to be honest, like we kind of thought Ricky Starks being the number one contender was just like a throwaway to get him to like a bigger thing. And I think you're right. Unless Tony Khan figures out a way to not capitalize on this, the promo may have changed some plans.
Maybe
like the promo itself was trending. People were tweeting about it. I saw
memes
like
out
we're opening
there.
The podcast. We're genuinely in earnest opening the podcast, talking about it. Obviously, we talked about Impact, but like we're opening the podcast talking about a Ricky Starks promo. That's got to change some things for AEW, I think.
I saw memes out there, Joey, later that night, and it was a picture of Ricky Starks and MJF face to face, and right under it was a picture of Rock and Stone Cold face to face.
Okay, I mean, okay. Put maybe the cart before the horse a little
bit. But that's just showing you that this was a fire promo, and I think, look, Ricky Starks is not beating MJF. All right, you got to keep the belt on MJF as long as you possibly can because we know he's their biggest star right now. But the money is likely in the chase for Ricky Starks, where just have him chasing and chasing and chasing. Look, it could be for over a year. I mean, however long, but have him chasing and chasing. And that's a lot of times how you make the huge babyface star is in the chase. And that very well may be what they're going to wind up doing now with Ricky Starks.
Yeah, and I'm glad they have it because it's pretty clear. At least it seems pretty clear to me over the last couple of weeks that what they've truly been setting up is MJF and Bryan Danielson, right? With the Regal attack and all that. But this buys them some time. They can save that now. Like that could be down the road. Like they got him and Ricky Starks for a while.
Yep.
But and also I will say this. As incredible as that promo segment was, they're pretty lucky that it ended up like as good as it was, because what the fuck is the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, and why did they have a tournament to crown a number one contender when Ricky Starks is just going to win both? Like,
I got to be honest with you, I didn't understand
what's going on.
Yeah,
like, what is happening?
I was going to ask you. I didn't understand what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like we already knew Ricky Starks was fighting MJF, and then Ricky Starks is in the Battle Royal and wins the Battle Royal, so now he's the double number one contender.
But then
remember
MJF also said when he got in the ring with him.
Next week, I'm going to be the 4. Yeah, he said next week I'm going to become the 4 time. So
I'm really confused.
Is next week the match for the diamond ring? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. It was not explained. I did not know what was happening.
No one does. And that was one of the things too. Like, even in some of the stuff I was reading, like, people were like, what's going on? Like, what does this mean? Like, because like last week when we were kind of previewing this week's show, which, remember, I think we talked about, like, the card was stacked for just a regular Dynamite. We talked about how, like, okay, so I guess now there's going to be 2 number 1 contenders. I thought Ethan Page would win it. And then we talked about how, like, it's fine because MJF, it's cool. He'll have multiple people going after him. But no, it's all Ricky Starks. It's like,
I don't understand
so
the
weird.
Battle Royal.
And the promo, Ruckel crushed it.
I just know that MJF and Ricky Starks are fighting. I don't know how we got there. I don't know what these matches mean, but I know Ricky Starks and MJF are doing a thing. That's all I understand right now.
and because the promo was so good,
it's fine.
I guess it doesn't really matter, because I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, most people have probably already forgotten how convoluted the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal was, and even the beginning of MJF's promo where he references that he's going to win the Diamond Ring. Like, it's like, but the promo was so good.
We're getting that next week. That's what we're saying. We think we're getting the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal next week. We think that's happening.
No, we got the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, but I think MJF still has the Diamond Ring because he's a former winner, and it seems to me that next week's match is for the AEW title and the ring.
All right, that's a lot happening. Okay, all right.
That is based off of the one line that MJF had, where he said, "I'm going to be the 4-time winner." Because they have not referenced anything other than that. Like, they had no. Again, I'm not going to keep shitting on the announce team. The announce team didn't break it down. Nobody gave us any information.
I shouldn't be watching and be totally confused. I understand pro wrestling. I shouldn't be watching and be totally confused.
I had multiple people who were like, what is this? Like, you're not the only one. Multiple people, a guy that I work with, someone texted me, like, what is the Diamond Ring? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But then almost immediately after that, they're like, Ricky Starks is a star. This guy's awesome.
Right.
So, like, they covered it up with a great segment. Yeah.
The other thing that really stood out to me from Dynamite, the main event, all right? That was the whole reason. Like, I turned it on to watch the main event live. That was the whole reason I was super excited all day leading up to Dynamite, was because this main event is going to be fantastic. The Acclaimed versus FTR for the tag team titles. And holy shit, that crowd was hot as hell for the entrance of both of those teams. Like, both teams are so over.
FTR's music is awesome. I love FTR's music.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool. It's like 80. It's got like an 80s vibe. Like, there's just something
they're
about
like
them.
An old school
they're so
tag
cool.
team.
Yeah.
So FTR, the crowd was on fire for them when they came out. The Acclaimed, the crowd was on fire for them when they came out. And I think the right team went over, because the Acclaimed are they're so damn hot. They're on fire. The crowd loves them. You know, a lot of times the crowd loves you during the chase, and then when you win the belts, like, all right, where do we go from here? That'll happen with the baby faces. You got to keep those belts on the Acclaimed. As long as the crowd loves them the way that they love them, you got to keep it moving.
Yeah. And it's what AEW should be doing, which is using the older, more relevant tag team, who, by the way, they're not that old, but they're also like one of the best, if not the best tag team in the world, to elevate this genuinely homegrown team to even higher heights. It's awesome.
And the match was great. The crowd was crazy from start to finish. They're friends again at the very end. It was a fantastic match. We all know how good FTR is. I was really impressed with the Acclaimed, because, I mean, you go back even just a year ago, and all right, they got their shtick where they come out and they rap, and, they got suspended for a week for something sexual. I think that was said. I remember the one time. And I'm like, all right, so they're a little bit controversial, but whatever. And now this, fast forward like a year later, I'm like, I love seeing these guys. They're a main attraction.
Yeah. Shout out to Billy Gunn too. I mean, they're probably not what they are without whatever whatever they decided when they brought him in. Daddy ass, scissor me, daddy ass is like one of the most over things in all of professional wrestling. I mean, even FTR is scissoring with them after the match. It's like this whole scissoring gimmick has become, I mean, one of the top things in all of professional wrestling. It's awesome. They're great. I mean, they really are truly very, very good.
The only other thing I have on Dynamite was that they did wrap William Regal. All right. So he is officially done. I guess they were calling it that they have this interview in the can from 2 weeks ago from before William Regal turned on Moxley. And he was delivering a message to Blackpool Combat Club. Minus Danielson, he was not at the show, but delivered a message to the other 3 guys in the ring that you always got to be one step ahead. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. So I didn't know whether, because AEW's been good at these kind of swerves. Like I gave the example of House of Black last week, where I thought they were out. You got Meltzer reporting he's done, but no, House of Black is totally still in. So AEW's done a good job of misdirection with that kind of stuff. So I didn't know what to believe with William Regal, but yeah, they wrote him off. He is done with AEW.
And this is where I will credit to the announce team. They did reference that that Daniel Bryan was not there because he's still at the bedside of William Regal, because William Regal's still recovering from the attack.
A week later, he's still bedside.
And the if you like in the promo, in that message that William Regal cut, shot with Tony Schiavone, he said in it, he's like, you will only see this if something bad happens to me. And I'm a pretty bad guy, so something bad might happen. And my biggest thing from that was like, well, not from that. Like, yes, he's gone. He's going to WWE, according to rumors. Apparently, there's like a non-compete where he can't be on TV. So I don't know what that means. But I'm assuming eventually he will be. I don't know. But my takeaway from all of that too was like, last week we were talking about is Jon Moxley even in the Blackpool Combat Club? Does the Blackpool Combat Club even exist?
They're making it sound like it still exists.
Yeah, and I guess now he was at ringside for the Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli match.
Not a single guy is from Blackpool, but it's still going to be Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, I don't know. And then even Moxley's reaction afterwards, where Schiavone was like, "What do you have to say?" Moxley was kind of like, "We love wrestling." It's like, like we love to wrestle, so we're gonna keep wrestling. I was like, "All right, cool, Mox." But yeah, he's gone. Regal's gone.
Do you got anything else on Dynamite here? Those are the things that stood out to me.
Yeah, well, just to circle back on the FTR thing, the way the show ended was the announcement that that FTR will be fighting the Briscoes at Ring of Honor Final Battle in a double dog collar match. Yeah. If you haven't, by the way, if you haven't seen the Briscoes, people, holy shit! If you want to talk about an awesome tag team, the Briscoes are cool as hell. And I mean, I kind of hope they win, because that would mean we will get them on AEW television because of how much they incorporate Ring of Honor into AEW, because the Briscoes are cool as shit. And that match is going to be intense.
And that's today, right? That's this afternoon.
Yeah, that is this afternoon for the Ring of Honor titles. The card itself is pretty loaded. Like I said, I mean, you got all the AEW guys. You got Jericho fighting Claudio. You got Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. You got the Ring of Honor women's title, which I didn't even know existed. Now you got the FTR versus the Briscoes.
Is Samoa Joe defending his belt?
You got Samoa Joe versus Juice Robinson, who, by the way, also very cool. Bullet Club member, is now in AEW. So quietly a very good show. Don't think a lot of people will watch it because I think you have to pay for it. I think it's on Fight TV. I actually don't even know where you get it. But I will go back and watch highlights and try to watch some of the matches, because I think it's going to be really good. The only other thing I had from Dynamite was the House of Black vignette promo was sweet.
Yeah, it was cool.
House of Black is awesome.
Yeah.
And Aleister Black is absolutely yoked right now.
I mean,
like,
let's get him involved in like a big, I'd like him eventually to be involved in the title picture, because the thing that I always liked about Aleister Black was he looks like a champion. He looks like he could kill you. He looks like, and of course he does have that mixed martial arts background. He looks like he is a champion. And that was the thing I always liked about him when he was NXT champion.
And I think more so now than before, because maybe this is the first time where it's stuck out to me. But he looks absolutely jacked. And by the way, they're setting up House of Black and the Elite. Like that's pretty. I think that's pretty clear. Like last week, he attacked Brandon Cutler, and so last week they had that lumberjack match. I think it was on Rampage. The Orange Cassidy, he defended that title that he has, and then after the match, they attacked all the lumberjacks. They beat the shit out of all the lumberjacks. Yep. Brandon Cutler is one of the lumberjacks. They slam him through a chair or a table. He sits down in a chair and gets in Brandon Cutler's face, and he says, "The people that you associate with are a problem," or something like that. And then they kind of
I didn't see that. Okay, that's vignette. Cool.
So I think they're setting up House of Black. Likely, I guess, probably when the Elite win these trios titles, maybe it'll be House of Black and the Elite, something like that. Which I got no problems with that, because that's awesome. They've been teasing Death Triangle breaking up for a long time, so I'm assuming maybe Pac will get like his singles run, and we'll get House of Black and the Elite, which got no problems with that at all. That's pretty cool. But yeah, no, that's it. Rampage last night, we found out that Hikaru Shida is now the #1 contender to Jamie Hayter. Okay. That's AEW news. Okay. She was defending that random title that she has last night on Rampage. But I guess also another thing that AEW just chose not to announce until I guess it happened, which was it was also for a #1 contender. So now Hikaru Shida is the #1 contender for Jamie Hayter.
All right.
That's
and
it. I saw that's my Dynamite breakdown.
And real quick, I did see that Trent Seven debuted last night. He was what's his name? Buddy, used to wear the bag over his head. Kip Sabian. He chose him to fight Orange Cassidy. So Trent Seven debuted, former NXT UK tag team champion. There you have it.
Yeah, and he's pretty cool. I mean, I from what I remember when he was in NXT UK, he used to tag with
Mustache Mountain with Tyler Bate.
Right. Yes. Which one of them was Big Strong Boy? Is that Tyler Bate?
Tyler Bate's the smaller of the two.
Right, but then the crowd used to always like chant "Big Strong Boy, Big Strong Boy."
Is that right? Okay,
yeah. It was one of the two of them. I think it's Tyler Bate because he's kind of like small, but they used to chant "Big Strong Boy," which I always thought was a pretty funny chant.
All right, so real quick here, Joey, before we moved on to Raw and SmackDown for this week, like you mentioned, NXT Deadline is today. And I got to give thanks to my guy, Victor. All right. My man, Victor, loyal Zaslow Show 2.0 listener. He attends most of these NXT tapings. All right. He lives not too far from there, I guess. I guess it's like the Winter Park area, right? Near Orlando. And so he sends me a rundown, of what happened. Sends me notes like I'm Dave Meltzer. All right. Sends me notes of what Victor goes on at the shows. Right. Yeah. So I appreciate Victor. Today is the Iron Survivor stuff. So the way that I understand it, it's for the men's #1 contender and for the women's #1 contender.
Yes.
So you got Axiom, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, J.D. McDonough, and Joe Gacy. And for the women, you have Cora Jade, Indy Hartwell, who I love, Kiana James, Roxanne Perez, and Zoe Stark. And so if I understand this correctly, 2 wrestlers start the match. Every 5 minutes, a new wrestler enters. And at the end of the 25 minutes, whichever wrestler has the most pinfalls wins the match. If you get pinned, you have to sit in the penalty box for 90 seconds. But also, tell me, if I understand this correctly, in this scenario, then, even though you're going to be super tired, you want to be one of the first 2 in the ring.
Sounds like it. I was just going to say, it sounds like the person who comes in last is at a major disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay. So they're coming in fresh, but I guess they got to try and rack up like a bunch of quick pinfalls.
I guess, or unless there just hasn't been many pinfalls because everyone's beating the shit out of each other.
All
I
right. So
guess.
look, I got no idea how that's going to go, but that sounds interesting. We never seen anything like it before.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my understanding is there was something similar to a few years back, but not exactly with this rule set. So I think they're like kind of like bringing it back with some tweaks. But yeah, I mean, I think Indy Hartwell is going to win. It seems like the whole gimmick, or not gimmick, the whole storyline, so to speak, on NXT has been how she can't win the big one.
Yeah.
Like how the fans love her, but she just can't get over the hump. That seems to be what they've been doing there. The men's one, I actually don't really know. If I was gonna make a pick, I would lean JD McDonough just because he's awesome. And he seems like a star. So and Braun Breaker needs a good heel if he's gonna stay in NXT. So maybe. I love Grayson Waller, but I don't know if they're gonna put him in the title picture. But yeah, it'll be cool. I'm interested to see how that match goes.
And I know New Day is
Victor,
fighting.
And Victor will let us know. Yeah, and New Day is fighting. They're fighting for the tag titles to be the Triple Crown tag champions.
All right, there you have it. So that's tonight. Let's get to Monday Night Raw here, Joey. So the show starts out with Becky Lynch interrupting Bayley Damage Control's promo, but so that was all. The two of them are going back and forth there. Okay, fine. But the main takeaway here is when Becky is leaving, and I love when they do this because, they're starting to show up with the women's triple threat, and they're setting up the winner of the two each women's triple threat are going to fight each other to then be next week to then become the number one contender. So Bayley's in the ring to start, and she's fighting this match with Rhea Ripley and Asuka, but Becky comes out first. Once Bayley's in the ring, they do their promo, they do their whole deal because we are going in a direction where Becky and Bayley are going to feud, which I'm really pleased with because we talked about it a couple weeks ago where, Bayley and Damage Control felt big again because they were doing a program with Becky Lynch at the start of last week. So I like that we're doing that. But this is one of my favorite things that WWE does. And they didn't start it too long ago, within like the last year or two, where sometimes they have a wrestler who is leaving the ring and walking up the entranceway when the superstar who's coming out for their match, their music hits, and they're coming down the aisle to start, and the two of them cross paths. I don't know when they started doing that. It's within the last year or two that'll happen sometimes. I love when they do that. All right. And as a result, you got the stare down between Rhea and Becky. And I wanted to see that match right now. Like right then and there, because, Becky's the man. So she's a badass and she's not afraid of anyone, except in that moment right there, Rhea Ripley looked like the baddest woman in the history of the WWE. All right. And the two of them are face to face, and Rhea wants to beat her ass, and Becky's not afraid of anybody. This was a tremendous stare down. I love the confrontations during the entrance theme that are just the random walking past each other. And I can't wait for Becky versus Rhea. And I love Becky Lynch. Everybody loves Becky Lynch. But I'll tell you right now, when they have that match, I hope Rhea kicks her ass. Like, that is going to be awesome.
Yeah. They've been teasing this for it just seems like this is, here's what's great. Here's something that I find great about what they're doing with this women's division right now.
Very hot.
For a while, it was stale. And now I don't know what the hell is going on, and it's great.
Yep.
Like, I don't think either of us going into Raw would have anticipated anything that happened in either of those matches, right? I mean, I guess Bayley winning that match, you could sort of anticipated, but the rest of it, I don't think we could have seen a lot of what happened on Monday night coming, which is what that's when wrestling's great. Because to me right now, like, you're right, it does seem like they're heading towards Bayley and Becky, but also it seems like they're very much right now heading towards Becky and Rhea Ripley, particularly because of how the matches ended up on Monday night. So It's all good. It's all
Well,
good.
I think
The
what
only
we're
thing,
doing right now is you got to remember we're still a month and a half away
oh yeah,
from
right.
Royal Rumble. So
Hmm.
you can have what you're doing right now and have those seeds planted for what we're going to do in a month from now.
Yeah. That the only thing I'll say, and this maybe not necessarily a bad thing, maybe it probably just shows the strength of how the storytelling is right now for the women's division. The champ is an afterthought. I mean,
Yep.
she's just an absolute afterthought right now. I
on
don't.
on
Was she
both
even on the
shows, by
show?
the way, on both shows.
Yeah. Well, Ronda, but yeah, yeah. I mean, like within the women's division on Raw, like Bianca Belair is just kind of not really super relevant at the moment. I mean, she's relevant in the sense that they're all fighting to fight her, but other than that,
She's had the belt for a long time. She will not have it through WrestleMania. Like at the latest, Bianca's
right?
dropping that belt at WrestleMania. At the latest.
Yeah.
And by the way, the women's division is on fire, and
on Raw,
and we're probably headed toward a place within the next month where we're going to get Charlotte Flair back. All right, so they're going to add Charlotte Flair to the mix here. I could tell you right now, I have no interest in a Sasha Banks return. This. I mean, look, she's great. We've talked about this before.
I didn't put it in Big Dirt, not a Big Dirt, but apparently because I know you're not super high on Sasha at the moment. I think she's going to New Japan.
Right. Let her.
They're like hosting her, or she's going to be there or something, which is interesting. Okay.
Let her. I mean,
yeah,
this between Becky and Rhea, Charlotte's going to return. Bayley, Bianca could feel a little bit stale right now, but we all know she's great. They clearly got good stuff going on with Alexa Bliss, which we'll get to. There's and Nikki Cross has been hot also. And then on the other side of things, you got Ronda, Shayna. I don't need Sasha Banks. I just don't. And you know what? I'll tell you what also rubs me the wrong way, man, is you got a lot of people out there who are clamoring for Sasha Banks. They're huge Sasha Banks fans.
I like Sasha. I really like Sasha Banks. I do. I genuinely
She's a great wrestler. Yeah. A great wrestler. But you know what? She's been gone out of action. We don't really know what's going on there for the last, what are we talking, 8-10 months? Can Sasha Banks take a second and maybe address her fans and tell somebody who loves Sasha Banks for all these years what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That rubs me the wrong way, man.
I get it. But to play devil's advocate here, what if what we were just talking about that you love about AEW is just what they've been doing for a long time now with Sasha and Naomi? What if they've just this is all just building up to like a crazy return?
Maybe.
What would you? I mean, maybe it's that, and they're just doing. I mean, by the way, she's everywhere. Like I see them. They're at award shows, and they're at basketball games, and they're this, and they're at that. Like they're always together, her and Naomi. And so it just strikes me as like there's something coming, but it has been a very long time since they left. They walked out. I think a lot of people assumed that once Triple H took over, that they would just immediately come back. Yeah, I don't know, but I really like her. I would love to see her with how good the women's division is right now. I would love to see her part of it because she is that good. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. I mean, it's frustrating.
I love everything going on with Rhea Ripley right now. I mean, she is just such a monster star. And I'll mention this real quick also. Dominic Mysterio fought Akira Tozawa, who clearly they're changing from the comedy gimmick, and they're just saying, hey, listen, this guy's a good wrestler. Let's put him on TV every once in a while, which is cool. You had Dominic and Akira Tozawa.
Thank you for bringing that. By the way, thank you for bringing that up because I wanted to mention I love Akira Tozawa. I think he's awesome.
Yeah,
I always actually I like his comedy shtick too. I thought he was funny with the whole ninja thing and his chase for the 24/7 title, rest in peace 24/7 title. But I mean, I like Akira Tozawa. I like seeing him on TV.
Mysterio, though, Dominic Mysterio and Judgment Day, they're entering the ring for Dominic's match there against Tozawa. And I'm just thinking, I can't believe it from where they were to right now. This Judgment Day is so money. Like everything that they're doing right now. And Dominic is a great chicken shit heel. And Rhea Ripley with this Judgment Day gimmick has turned into, I think she is so clearly going to be the biggest star of this women's division for many, many years to come. I can't believe Judgment Day has worked out the way that it has. And it's one of those deals where, yes, sometimes you just got to give it a little bit of time, man. Like when Edge was out, even when Edge was still there, you didn't really know for sure. But then when Edge was out and they brought Finn Balor, it's like, and then Rhea was hurt. And it's like, we don't really know if this is going to allow it. They tried it. It's not working. Let's move on. But no, you stuck with it. You give it a little bit of a chance. And here we are. Like that faction is money, man.
Yeah. And I'll go as far as to say, we talk a lot about like who's going to win the Rumble? Who's it going to be for Roman at Mania? What's going to happen? Like who's going to be the guy? Finn could be that guy, man. Finn, like Judgment Day is so good, and Finn is so good, and
you got to feature them, yeah.
And Finn was the Universal Champion.
Yep.
Once upon a time, he was massive in NXT when Triple H was in charge of NXT. Like, I think he's a sleeper for potentially being a guy. Maybe if it's not Mania, but just something with the bloodline, because Finn is that good too. Like it's almost lost because of how good Rhea is right now with them, but Finn is that good, and he's been that good in this role. I think he's like sort of like completely reinvented himself again, and he's awesome. Like everything they're doing is really good.
So Bayley gets the pin. Rhea then beats the shit out of Asuka after the match. Rhea looks like a massive star. Bayley's going to advance next week and fight for the title. Fight for the number one contender against the other women's triple threat, which was Alexa and Nikki Cross and Becky Lynch. I'll say something real quick about Nikki Cross here. This version of her is so much fun. I get it. They tried something else with her for a while. Okay, that's fine. But let's go back to Twisted Sister. And what she's doing right now is super fun. I think everyone digs it. And I also love that Alexa wins this match. You get, it's a damage control, puts Becky through a table, and which, by the way, ties together. This is good storytelling. It tied together the beginning of the night to the end of the night. They bookended the show with Becky and damage control. Becky interrupts at the very beginning of the show, and the end of the show, damage control puts Becky through the table. That's how the show ends. Alexa does Twisted Bliss for the pin on Nikki, and I like that so Alexa wins this match. We know that we're headed toward the Bray Wyatt stuff. I love a slow burn. I love that it's taken a long time. But I also especially like that Alexa's got this big story now revolving around her, because if in all honesty, between all of the women in WWE, and maybe if you even include the men, she's probably the best like actress in WWE.
She's really good. Yeah.
She's really good. So to have her featured in this type of story, I dug that she got the win.
Yeah. And I think actually I that's one of the things I was talking about that I couldn't have predicted before Raw started. I didn't think there was a chance she was winning that. And now I kind of think she's also going to win next week. I think it's going to be her. I mean, like,
so next week
you mentioned
Bayley and Alexa Bliss. Yeah.
Right. And you mentioned like there's a lot of time till Royal Rumble. We need some like stories to hold us over.
Yeah.
I think Alexa Bliss is going to be the number one contender, and she's going to do something with Bianca. They were teammates, they're friends. It's going to be like a friendly thing, but there's also like the looming thing of what how does Bray, and like they're also, remember the backstage interview that they did after War Games where Alexa was like kind of checked out.
Yep.
Right. And she was like, oh yeah, it was a good idea to get Becky. Like there's still like that out there where was she like bitter that Bianca had to bring in Becky, like the whole so I think it's actually now it kind of makes sense. Maybe I think it's
well, and I would also say, I mean, Becky's going to cost Bayley the match next week. I mean, they cost Becky the spot, and that's how they're going to get Bayley out of that spot while still looking strong. Becky's going to come and cost her, and that's going to lead to the big feud or the big payoff with Becky and Bayley. So I think Alexa Bliss is going to win next week. I think you're right.
Yeah. And I like it.
Anything else from Raw there? Those were my takeaways. I think those are the biggest stories. I
we had tag titles. We had Riddle with special tag team partner Kevin Owens.
Oh, and Solo beat the shit out of everybody.
Solo beat the shit out of Riddle so bad he's off TV for 6 weeks.
6 weeks, returning right before Royal Rumble.
So first of all, obviously the Usos retain, right? Kevin Owens still involved in his stuff, but the Umaga tribute, right?
Yeah.
Solo does the thumb to the throat as a tribute to Umaga. Awesome. I think probably passed a lot of people over. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people. Umaga is a legend, but like it's a certain era. He was only around for a short amount of time, passed away. So it's like some people probably remember, some people don't. But I thought that was awesome. I also think like I don't know if Riddle is really hurt or they just needed time off, but the spot where he folded him up in the chair with the Rikishi like ass slam thing that he does in the corner, and Riddle was like in the chair. That looked really bad. Like when I saw that happen, I'm like, he may actually be hurt. That looked gnarly, but it was good. I like that they're giving Solo like that moment to be the feature, to be the badass, and like really get some shine there.
So let's talk about Solo at the start of SmackDown last night, because the opening of SmackDown yesterday, you got the Usos versus the Brawling Brutes.
Zaz, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but are we just not going to talk about JBL's Poker Invitational? Are we just going to gloss over?
I don't care. But I mean, you like it because they've been playing so much poker.
Well, first of all, it keeps the streak alive for a full month of poker on WWE programming. But also, it's like the best and the worst of WWE all together. Like it's the worst because it's like so absurd, but it's also the best because it's so absurd. Like to me, it's like everything about it was so crazy. It was like it's like when you watch a movie that you're like, it's like Sharknado, right? It's so bad that it's good. That's like what my takeaway was from the poker tournament. But it was crazy.
Are you still skeptical of Solo? Okay. Usos and Brawling Brutes was a great match.
Yeah.
It ends with the Usos, they get some help from the outside, from Sami, from Solo. Are you still skeptical of Solo? Because it wasn't just you. The internet was doing the thing also over the last couple of weeks that why doesn't he wear the colors? Why doesn't he put the one up? He doesn't want to stance and celebrate. I mean, his name is Solo. His name is Solo. All right. Yeah. Are you still skeptical of Solo Sikoa?
A little bit. I mean, he still doesn't put them one up. He still has his arms crossed. And all that. And again, all of the stuff that he did on Raw to Riddle was after the match. It was done. He took it upon himself to do that. Like everyone was gone and he was by himself. So in a way, yeah, a little bit. I think there's something there. I don't know. It's probably pretty far off, but I think it leaves the door open to him potentially doing something. I don't know, but yes, a kind of, but maybe not as much, but kind of, yes.
Tell you what, I've said this before. Butch just works, man. I dig Butch.
He's a star.
It's like this role. It's another one, just like with Judgment Day. Give it a chance. Some of these wrestlers, they're so good at what they do. Let them work it out. Let them find their place. Let them just let the story or the character develop a little bit. Butch works, man. It's a good spot for him with Sheamus.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think part of the, I think like if you're an NXT fan, you're a hardcore, like if you're an NXT, like Pete Dunne era NXT fan, you're a pretty hardcore wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. And you know how it is. Like a lot of times the most hardcore people are the loudest, but they're also like a small like faction of who's actually watching. And I think a lot of the issue with Butch was just that his name was Butch, and people were like, why can't we just call this guy Pete Dunne?
Well, I sent out a tweet right after he debuted as Butch, and all my tweet said was, I'm not calling him Butch.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, what is this? What are we doing here? But man, I'll tell you what, Butch is a great name for what he is, and I'm cool with it.
Yep.
But he's really, I mean, shout out to Sheamus in all of this, because like he's just made those guys great as like their leader. But yeah, Butch is cool, man. I really like him.
There wasn't a whole lot else on SmackDown that I loved, but there are a couple things that I want to mention.
Got some LA Knight action.
Oh yeah, okay. So the LA Knight Bray Wyatt stuff was great. He's trying to crack a cold case up there, and he's showing you. So Uncle Howdy is in the background there. So yeah, they're stretching out the LA Knight Bray Wyatt stuff, which is exactly what they should do, because I really think they found something that totally works. Like that's a story that you could spread out a little bit. And you and I are both on the same page when it comes to LA Knights. I want to see him on the microphone every single day.
Well, let me ask you. So LA Knight's making this case that it's clearly Bray.
Right. Clearly.
I mean, who else could that be? That's clearly Bray. What do you think? Like, who is this? Right?
Yeah, it's not Bray.
But it's also not Uncle Howdy. It's not Uncle Howdy. That's a different mask.
Now, wasn't that was the mask that Bray Wyatt re-debuted in, right? That was the White Rabbit mask, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I guess
I think it was. So it's not Uncle Howdy, but that tells you it could be Bray Wyatt's, because that was the White Rabbit mask. I don't know.
I mean, I gotta be honest, man. I hope it's just not like a theme thing where this is just the Bray puts on a mask and now he's a bad guy. Like I hope it's not that.
Me too.
Because it's just like it's too similar. It's just not. I hope it's someone else that is going to be with Bray and is, but I don't know. Whatever. As long as LA Knight's involved, I'm down with it.
The big theme of the show was Kurt Angle's birthday. A couple things I want to mention, a good thing and a bad thing. But obviously, the end was fun. Okay, fine. You got the milk. Everybody loves that.
The milk, yeah.
But a fun thing that came out of this, they're doing their party, and Jason Jordan drawing a picture, world's best dad, and hands it to Kurt Angle. That's funny. Yeah. I enjoyed that. That's funny.
Yeah. I think anytime you can call back to that storyline,
that's funny, is good,
because again, so bad it's good. That is a perfect example. That storyline was one of the worst in WWE history. So the fact that they can make fun of it is very, very good.
That's funny. Very good. And now a bad part is, so at the beginning of the night when Kurt Angle is walking in with Gable Steveson and they have the run-in with Braun Strowman, Gable Steveson is stiff as a board. I just like, I know they have super high hopes for him, and clearly they're trying to introduce him now as they want to make the Olympian thing a big deal, as they should. They're trying to give him that Kurt Angle rub, but just from what I could tell so far, and you saw a little bit of character come out with the milk stuff at the end of the night, but like that interaction right there with Braun Strowman early in the show, he is stiff as a board, Joey. Give me a little bit of character. Give me some kind of personality.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, like, look, this guy is obviously he's an incredible athlete, but I think they may have missed the boat. Like, I think they missed, like, he like, what percentage would you say of people watching WWE television know that Gable Steveson is a gold medalist in wrestling anymore? Like,
yeah, but you could have said the same thing about Kurt Angle.
They should have debuted him. They should have. Such a long time. I mean, it was, well, first of all, like I think, yes, that's true. Kurt Angle, but actually when Kurt Angle debuted, like people didn't like him, right? Like he was kind of also stiff. That was the whole thing. Like he was like kind of like the All-American, like,
but you were able to see, but Kurt clearly had a lot of personality. I don't think this Gable Steveson has anything remotely.
I don't know. I genuinely don't. I genuinely don't really know. And I've heard him. He's been on Ariel Helwani's show, or Ariel Helwani's interviewed him, and I've heard him talk, and it seems like he has some personality, but they have not really done anything to showcase it yet. I think he's still in school. I think technically he's under an NIL with WWE.
Okay. All right, we'll see. I mean, I've been hearing his name for a couple years now. It's like they're
teased, big on him. I mean, they've been pumping him up. Yeah,
they've teased several times. This guy's the next big thing, and then they don't quite pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Anyway, one more thing before I get to the final story here. I just want to mention Legado del Fantasma. It's my favorite entrance theme right now. Oh man, they got a great entrance song.
They're cool.
Yeah, they are very cool. So I'm into the things that they're doing right now. Zelina Vega looks like $1 million. I like Legado del Fantasma. And finally, though, what are we getting next week in Chicago? So you get the Bloodline. They're doing their promo in the back. Solo and Jimmy, they go off to do whatever they're doing. Jimmy tells Sami to wait. Hold up. Yo, the tribal chief is coming to Chicago next week. Why don't you trim up your beard and your hair because he's got something planned for you? What do we got going on next week? The only thing that I could actually think of is, are they going to actually make him an official Uso?
I thought that was already the thing, right?
I thought so too.
But I guess maybe not because, Roman hasn't actually been on TV since War Games.
Right.
So maybe now, because he's coming back, now it's official.
Yeah.
Because they've kind of referenced, after War Games, they've referenced a few times on TV, he's officially an Uso. He's officially a member of the family. But I guess now that the tribal chief is actually going to be back, now it's real because
he's become a made man. That's what we got. Yeah. Hopefully it's not like Joe Pesci in Goodfellas. He thinks he's going to be a made man. He walks into the room, gun to the back of the head.
Well, it probably will be at some point, but not yet.
So that's the big lead up then to next week. And we also learned that John Cena is returning for the last SmackDown, which is in Tampa, by the way. It's here in Florida. It's in Tampa, that John Cena show, December 30th, SmackDowns. I
wouldn't mind seeing some Cena.
I actually went and I looked up it's so funny, the difference between Tampa as a wrestling town. And I guess because, listen, that Central Florida area is super hot for pro wrestling, and Miami. I think our pro wrestling live crowd sucks here in Miami. It never sells.
Not shocking to me, but
it never sells well. And I looked up in Tampa what the tickets were for SmackDown. They sell the upper deck and there's hardly a seat left. It's almost sold out, the entire building for SmackDown in Tampa.
Wow.
That's good wrestling crowd
awesome.
there.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So
anyway. That's really cool. That's awesome.
You got anything else on WWE this week before we get to Big Dirt or Not Big Dirt?
There was a few things on SmackDown. We had the the Ronda stuff. Right, the attack Shotzi outside the arena, and the Raquel Rodriguez and the Ronda stuff. I guess Karrion Kross is doing something with Rey Mysterio.
I like that actually. I dig it. I like it. Yeah. I thought Karrion Kross thought the promo was good, talking about putting down putting down the horse. I liked it. I was into it.
And then you had the continued build with Ricochet and Gunther.
They've really done a great job of rehabbing Ricochet. I think they've done a nice job with him over the last month or so, whatever. He's a big time player now. I like it.
Yeah. And also kind of continuing New Day and Imperium, because they came out and they helped Ricochet.
Imperium.
Yeah. I think that's all. I think that was it. Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do it, man. Let's do some Big Dirt or Not Big Dirt. Let's get to it. What do you got for us this week?
All right. Well, I guess, since we didn't really talk about Ronda much, I'll start there. Last night, in the hours leading up to SmackDown, and I think during SmackDown, hashtag Fire Ronda Rousey was trending. And apparently this is a hashtag that has trended many times for Ronda. Big Dirt, not a Big Dirt. Everyone hates Ronda Rousey. Genuine hate.
I'm going Not Big Dirt. I noticed this last week too. This is 2 weeks in a row. Fire Ronda Rousey was trending. This is not Big Dirt because they're not going to fire Ronda Rousey. But if anything, I like it because let her get mad. Let her. Can she try and convince the fan that she gives a shit at all about pro wrestling? Because right now, I watch Ronda Rousey. I don't think she gives a shit about anything but that paycheck that's coming in. So good. Let them work Fire Ronda Rousey into storyline. Let it make her mad. Yeah. We know in reality, she's super sensitive. All right? So good. Let her get super sensitive about this kind of stuff. But I'm going not Big Dirt because, I mean, they're obviously not going to fire him.
Right. Fair enough. I mentioned Solo's tribute to Umaga. We found out that Umaga's son is now training. Zilla Fatu is now training with Booker T in his Reality of Wrestling school, which to me means maybe it sounds like we got bloodline for the next 20 years. Big deal, Big Dirt, not Big Dirt. Umaga's son potentially keeping the bloodline going here.
I'm going Big Dirt. I'm going Big Dirt. Let's expedite the training here. Let's get as many members of the bloodline as possible. I like it.
Yeah, you gotta have them. The elders. It's really not about how well Booker T trains him. It's really about when do the elders want to send.
When the elders tell King Booker that he's ready, that's when he's ready.
When will they send him? So it's really more about that. Like he can train as much as he needs to. The elders will make that call. So this Asuka, there's stuff going on with Asuka right now. So pre-Raw, she put out like a series of tweets, basically like teasing a heel turn. Good. But it's like, so I guess in Japan, she had like this character that was like kind of like had like face paint like the Joker. And she was like really like a dark like character.
Good.
And she put out like all these tweets like telling people like when people were like talking about the triple threat match, like don't root for me. Like I'm not the one. I don't need to win. Like I'm not supposed to win. She had tweeted, "The world is full of shit. Goodbye, cruel world. Disowned may you be forever. Abandoned may you be forever. Destroyed be forever. All the bonds of nature." There's like a bunch of like dark like kind of like sinister tweets from her.
Good.
This was before Raw, teasing like I guess a big character shift in a heel turn from her. Big Dirt, not a Big Dirt.
I'm going Big Dirt because I love Asuka, but I also I liked NXT Asuka so much better than this version of WWE Asuka, dancing around, the joking, and I want her to go back to being the woman who never lost in NXT. So I'm going Big Dirt. I just like Asuka. I will miss her, getting in the ring and just rambling and screaming in Japanese. Like that's one of my favorite things that she's ever done. Like I just love it, especially when like her and Io are just like yelling at each other, or like when Kairi Sane was still in WWE and they would just cut promos completely in Japanese and he had no fucking clue what's happening. That's one of my favorite things, but alas, I mean, she'll be a great heel. All right, these last two, I don't even know which one to do first because they're both awesome. Like these are two awesome stories, but let's start with the biggest day in combat sports in a while, right? There's just so much going on. Yep.
UFC 282 tonight. MJF tweeted at Patty the Batty, "See you in Vegas." MJF reportedly going to be at UFC 282 tonight. What does that mean? Is he going to continue? Is he going to try to get, like, where are his seats? Is Dana going to put him near the ring? Like, remember, I don't know if you remember this. Years ago, Undertaker was cage side for the Brock fight. And when Brock walked by, they looked at each other and Undertaker was like, "Let's do this."
Yep.
Let's do this. Sort of teasing that Brock would be there. Is there a chance that MJF, like Big Dirt, not a Big Dirt, MJF's going to be at UFC 282 to, I guess, potentially, whether it's Tony Khan related or not, continue this Twitter beef that he has with Patty Pimlet.
I'm going Big Dirt, but also I'm looking forward to, is he going to wear the belt? Because WWE superstars are there often enough, but I don't ever remember the WWE champion being at a UFC event. So is MJF going to wear the belt to that show tonight? I'm really interested in that.
I don't know, but I will say this: like, there is a big crossover between UFC and WWE fans, but the people that go to the events, they're gonna bury, like they're gonna shit on him.
Because here's the way I see it.
If he's wearing the belt, they're gonna shit on him.
It's more likely.
I mean, it'll be funny. But.
Yeah, it's more likely a WWE fan, a pro wrestling fan, is a UFC fan than it is the UFC fan is a pro wrestling fan. I think there's more crossover
Sure, yeah.
the first way that I said it than the second. And you're right. You're going to have a lot of people at the show tonight. They're like, that belt's bullshit. Well, what are you doing? So yeah. I'm really interested if you wear the belt.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that crossover, and then I'll go to the last topic real quick, is that if you're really a UFC fan, part of what people love about UFC now is just totally WWE. I mean, and what everyone loves about UFC now is the shit talking, the promos, all that, and like that didn't always happen. Like Chael Sonnen is the greatest promo in the history of mixed martial arts. He was really one of the first guys to like make it cool to do that in UFC, but now it's everybody. It's all shit talking. It's all promo. Yep. You don't even really have to be up in the rankings. If you're a good talker, Dana's going to put you in a big fight. So it's funny that a UFC fan wouldn't like WWE because it's kind of like the same shit that you're enjoying. It's like the entertainment factor. All right, last thing. So I don't know if you watch Young Rock.
Don't. I have it saved. I don't. I will.
Okay. So Young Rock takes place in the future.
Yeah.
In like 2032, whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
This past week, they were in his house, and there's a shot of all of his title belts, right? In the middle, Universal title.
Wow.
Blue SmackDown Universal title on Young Rock. Supposed to be 10 years in the future. Big Dirt, not a Big Dirt.
That is big.
Is Young Rock teasing The Rock winning the Universal title?
Well, I do remember the one episode
in season one, yeah, they had young Roman Reigns.
Yup, and he looked straight at the camera like he was trying to get the adults' attention. They were ignoring him, and he looked right at the camera and he yelled, "Acknowledge me." Yeah. All right. Yep. So if there's a title belt there, it could be one. It could be product placement from WWE, where it's, hey, let's put the updated belt in there. We want it, that's all it could be. But it could also be what I want to believe is foreshadowing. And so that's very Big Dirt. I did not know that. That is really good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, shout out to a buddy that I work with who pointed it out to me because I didn't notice it either. But yeah, apparently they may be teasing something. So yeah, Big Dirt. All right,
that's another edition of Big Dirt, Not Big Dirt. Excellent job this week, Joey. I'm looking forward to next week. We'll obviously have a lot to catch up on, especially if anything interesting happens on NXT Deadline today. And again, hey, make sure you like, you rate, you comment, download, subscribe, all that good stuff. Zaslow Show 2.0, and It's Still Real to Me. You got anything else real quick, Joey?
No, sir. Good stuff. We'll talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week. See you guys.